You might be getting rich right now and not even know it. I am going to share the signs that show you are on the path to building wealth. This way you can check if these signs apply to your own life. Before I made a video about spotting wealthy people around you. That was about reading others. Today I am turning the mirror toward you. We are going to look at the daily habits and actions you take. These actions tell me you are secretly getting rich, even if your bank account does not show it yet. The first sign that tells me you are secretly getting rich is how you think about time. You are a long-term thinker. You do not chase short-term wins. Imagine a game where the prize grows the longer you play. If you play for the long term, you will become wealthy. All the best returns in life come from waiting and letting things grow. It is just like compound interest. The longer you stick with a good habit, the better the reward gets. Think about the richest investors in the world. They build massive wealth because they do not spend every dollar they make. Instead, they put their money back into their investments. They just let their money grow over time. They hold on to their assets for decades. If you think this way, you are on the path to major financial success. Let me give you a real-world example to make this easy to see. Imagine you want to buy something that costs $50 or maybe even $500. How long do you wait before you actually buy it? Wealthy people often research a purchase for months. They wait for the perfect sale. Sometimes they even decide they do not need the item at all. If you have the habit of waiting before you buy, you can control your impulses. This means you optimize for the long term. This simple habit of waiting is the key concept that makes you very rich later in life. You give up small things today to secure a much better financial future tomorrow. I want you to remember something very important. Building wealth is a slow process and it is not always easy to see. These signs prove you are on the right track, even if your bank account has not caught up to your good habits yet. This brings me to sign number 2. You are earning more money, but you do not actually want to spend more. For most people, the moment they get a raise, they immediately want to spend that extra cash. They spend it simply because they have it. This is a normal human reaction. The more resources we get, the more we naturally consume. Think back to your school days. If a teacher gave you 2 weeks to write a paper, you took the full 2 weeks. Even if the work only required a few hours, you used up all the time given to you. This exact same behavior applies to our money. Imagine you make $60,000 a year. You spend $55,000, so you save $5,000 a year. Suddenly, you get a promotion and make $80,000 a year. Most people will quietly increase their spending to $75,000. They think they are fine because they still save $5,000. But what if you did something different? If you keep your old lifestyle, you could save $20,000 a year instead. That sets you on a completely different financial path. If you do this for the next 10 or 20 years, your savings rate will build massive wealth. You should focus on this even more than your investment returns. Wealthy people do not see a bigger paycheck as a reason to buy more stuff. They see it as a tool to save more money. If you earn more but feel no desire to spend more, that is a great indicator. It proves you are building real lasting wealth. Sign number 3 is that you have no car payment. Maybe you drive a 5 to 10-year-old reliable car that you own completely. You are secretly getting rich because you understand basic math. Paying $700 every single month for a machine that loses value daily is a terrible return on your money. That $700 a month equals $8,400 a year. If you invest that money over 10 years, it could grow to over $100,000. Right now, about 40% of people have an auto loan. The average car payment is an amazing $767 per month. If you avoid this debt, you instantly have much more free cash than the average person. You can take that extra money and invest it. But if you do currently have a car payment, do not panic. You can still be on the path to wealth. A good sign is if you bought a car that has already lost its initial drop in value. New cars drop in price extremely fast in the beginning, but after the 5-year mark, that price drop slows down heavily. Most of the value is already gone. So if you want to save money, it makes perfect sense to buy a gently used vehicle. A car with 30,000 miles that is 3 to 5 years old is a smart choice. You are doing well if you understand that a car is just a tool to get from point A to point B. Let us look at sign number 4. You have mastered the art of living below your means. This simply means you always spend less money than you earn. By doing this, you create a gap between your income and your expenses. This growing gap builds your savings and investments over time. This naturally turns into financial freedom. You can build this gap in two ways. First, you can lower your expenses so your current income leaves money left over. Second, you can increase your income so much that the gap forms naturally. Let us discuss the first method of lowering expenses. One simple trick is to check your bank statements for the last 3 months. Write down everything you bought. Find the areas where you are spending too much money. This simple review helps you spot unnecessary purchases. Once you find these leaks, you can plug them. The ultimate goal is to track the gap between your earnings and your spending every month. If that gap grows larger over time or remains steady, you are successfully building wealth. Now let us look at the second method. Increasing your income is often more powerful than just cutting costs. Studies show that 66% of households making over $100,000 a year successfully live below their means. But for households making under $50,000 a year, fewer than 40% can say the same. This proves a simple truth. As you make more money, it becomes much easier to create that wealth-building gap. Increasing your income is not always easy. Sometimes you need to change jobs. Sometimes you need to build a skill that is very hard to replace. The main point of sign number 4 is to keep track of the gap between your expenses and your income. If you are consistently living below your means, then you are on the right path. Sign number 5 is that you value your time more than physical goods. When you reach a point where your time matters more than stuff, it shows growth. It means you can use your money to buy back your own time. Most people just want to buy more things to show off to others. In their minds, these items prove to society that they are doing well. I think this is a very common way to think, especially when you are young. You want a brand new car or a big apartment or fresh sneakers. But I truly believe the real sign of wealth is an open calendar. You are completely free to say no to things you do not like. You do things because you want to do them. You do not do them just to survive. This means you can finally trade your money to get your time back. For example, you might pay $150 every 2 weeks for someone to clean your house. But because you get 3 to 4 hours back, you can use that time to make even more money. Or you can simply use that time to relax. Resting might make you more creative at work later in the week. If you are starting to assign a real dollar value to your personal time, that is a beautiful thing. It tells me you are quietly on the path to secretly getting rich. Sign number 6 is that you have stopped comparing yourself to other people. There is an old saying about trying to keep up with your neighbors. This idea has been around forever because it destroys your personal finances. The exact moment you start measuring your own success against your friends or people on social media, you lose. That is a bad habit because you completely lose sight of your own goals. Comparing your real life to someone else's internet highlight reel is a terrible idea. You never actually see what happens behind closed doors. That shiny new car might be rented. They might live in an apartment that eats up 50% of their income. You simply do not know the truth. More importantly, their life does not matter to your money. If you are quietly getting wealthy, you have likely stopped watching other people entirely. When you stop caring about outside opinions, you stop buying useless things. You stop trying to impress people you do not even like. If this sounds like you, then you are definitely on the right track. Sign number 7, that you never feel the need to talk about your money. I have noticed a very clear pattern. The people who talk the loudest about their income and their expensive purchases are rarely the ones who actually have real wealth. When some people get a raise, they immediately tell everyone. If they buy a new car, they post photos online within 24 hours. I believe they do this because showing off is the main reason they bought it. If they spend $1,000 on a fancy dinner but no one sees it, they feel sad. For many people, getting attention from society is the only reason they spend their cash. You see this same behavior when people travel. They take endless pictures at famous spots just for likes. Or they go to a music show and record 1,000 videos instead of watching. If you are secretly getting rich, you prefer to stay quiet. You are not hiding your money. You just do not need anyone to clap for you. You know your own bank balance and you have absolutely nothing to prove. This is also true for your salary. If someone constantly complains about their pay or brags about their large checks, their whole identity is tied to cash. But if you are quietly building wealth, you watch a different number. You track your total net worth. Net worth matters much more than your monthly salary because it proves you have good habits. If you notice you no longer share your financial details with the world, you are growing. It is a fantastic sign that you are heading in the right direction. Sign number 8 is that saving money no longer feels like a painful sacrifice. When you first start building wealth, saving a single dollar feels like you are giving up your happiness. For example, packing your own lunch for work might feel boring at first. It might not taste as good as a hot sandwich from the deli. You might feel sad that you are missing out on a fun lunch break. You might feel a fear of missing out because your budget is tight. But let me tell you what happens over time. This is my absolute favorite sign on the list. The choices that felt like torture early on become things you actually love. Staying home on a Friday night might feel bad in your early 20s, but later on that quiet night is a total blessing. You might end up like me on a Friday night just playing video games at home. Relaxing in peace will feel like the best choice in the world. Another big step is putting maximum cash into your retirement accounts. It no longer feels like you are locking your money in a cage. It feels like you are buying a beautiful future. As you grow from someone bad with money into an expert, your personal values shift. Once your daily values naturally create positive financial habits, you no longer see them as painful sacrifices. If old discomforts no longer bother you, you are winning. When you pack your lunch today, you feel proud of it. When you skip the coffee shop, you do not even miss the sugar. If all these smart choices feel normal to you now, it is a huge signal. Sign number 9 is that you never panic when the stock market drops. If you have invested for a long time, you know markets bounce up and down. World events and politics make prices jump wildly. When the daily news is scary and your friends text you that they lost 10% of their money, it hurts your brain. Most people who constantly read this negative news will panic and sell everything. They lock in their losses when they should have just waited. Unless you plan to retire tomorrow, you do not need to save short-term cash. It is always better to hold your investments instead of guessing the market. Prices will always swing up and down. When you feel scared, simply look at the big picture. History proves that stocks go up over decades, even during massive disasters. When the market falls, a wealthy thinker does not see danger. They see a rare chance to buy more assets at a huge discount. If you can watch prices crash without feeling any fear, you are amazing. You know that in 10 or 20 years your money will multiply. If you hold this calm mindset, you possess the final sign that you trust the math and the process. Please remember that all the information in this video is for reference only. Viewer discretion is advised, and you should always do your own research before making any financial decisions. If you found value in this lesson today, please subscribe to my YouTube channel for more clear and simple financial guides. I am Life Investment, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you for watching.